Hello there, my name is Joanna and I'm going to be showing you some rehabilitation exercises for your wrist. So if you've recently broken your wrist and it's come out of a cast, these are going to be the exercises for you. So first of all, you need to remove any bandaging or any straps that you've got attached to your wrist. So I've got this one, I'm going to take that one off. Starting off, find yourself a nice comfortable place where you've got a sturdy table. It can be a coffee table, it can be dining room, living room table, any way you like. Do it is to rest your elbow onto the table and you're just going to let your wrist drop down. Then you're going to bring it back up and then you're going to drop it back down again. Just nice, smooth, steady movements. Just taking it to as far as you can go. Brilliant. Now our next exercise is resting your forearm on the table and you're just going to flex the wrist towards you and extend it away. Lovely. So this is almost like polishing your table on the side. Trying to get that range of movement back into the wrist joint again. Now, before you do any of these exercises, always make sure that you've taken your prescribed medication from your GP or pain relief. The last exercise for your extension and flexion is coming over the table and just letting your wrist come down. So you're just going to let it relax and flop down. So your forearm is completely resting on the top and you're going to extend the hand back up. This is the best one for me to do out of those three exercises because it doesn't put any pressure on the lateral aspect, and that's where I fractured my wrist. As you can see, I'm quite shaky when I get to the end points, and that's because I've got to build up all my proprioception in my muscles again. They haven't been used for a long time. So you're looking about doing 5 to 10 repetitions and repeating that 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the afternoon and the evening if possible. Little and often is the key for the first bit of rehabilitation there. This is my good wrist, this is my bad. If I just let both the wrists drop down, I've got a lot more movement in my good wrist and my left wrist is just very shaky. So if I bring it all the way back, it's probably not the best position for me to be in there, but you can see I've got a lot more range of movement through the good wrist there. When you've been doing those exercises for a while and you feel like you want to progress a little bit, you can actually start to do some passive movement with the other hand, and that's going to help increase the range of movement through the joint as well. So when you bring the hand up, just put a gentle pressure onto the palm to help extend that wrist a little bit further. And we're going to start with a little bit of wrist movement. So it's like you're waving at the table there. So you can see my wrist going from side to side, keeping my forearm as still as possible. And again, you're looking about 5 to 10 times in a set. You might have to start off with just doing 1 set and building up to 2 or possibly 3. Good, and once you've done that one, we're just going to go with supination and pronation. So we're going to start with the wrist flat down onto the table, and then we're going to turn the palm to face the ceiling. So you probably do need to be in a slightly different position than me. So you're facing the same direction, so you're not twisting your body there. Good, so I'm turning my palm, placing it down onto the table, and then I'm supinating, bringing my palm up to the ceiling. Excellent. Once you've done that one, we're going to move into a nice fist and extend the fingers out. So it's a big fist and extend the fingers out. Great. Now as I'm doing it this time, I'm going to extend but then drop the wrist down. And with the fracture which I've had, this is the best exercise for me to do by dropping the wrist down. If I just maintain it in this level, I'm not really activating enough range of movement there. So really drop down as far as I can. Now the next exercise is the thumb to finger touch. So you're just going to place your thumb and your finger together and go through each of your digits. Nice and easy. Get the signals, sending them back to the brain. Good, and then you're going to touch the second pad of that finger down. So you're working your way down your digits. Doing that twice, and then you're going to go on to the third one. Twice again. And then if you can even touch the thumb onto the actual palm. Oh, that one's really tricky. And that does give me a little bit of pain there. Brilliant, and just loosen off. So once you've done those and they're starting to feel a little bit easier, you can start to progress them. So you can use a weight, maybe 1 kilogram, or you might have to start with 0.5, building up to 1.5 kilograms, or you can use a water bottle or something like this, a rolling pin. So you're just going to hold on to your rolling pin, and we're going to go back to our flexion and extension of the wrist exercises. We're going to start with the rolling pin here and extending the wrist up, so a nice extension up there, and you've got a little bit of weight now where your wrist is having to work a bit harder, so it's important to start increasing the muscle usage. We're going to change that around to the other side, so we're going to place your palm facing the ceiling, put the weight in and clasp the hand round, and then flex the wrist up and drop it back again. Back to neutral position. Good. We're going to move into some exercise putty. You can use a sponge, a kitchen household sponge is fine, or you can use Play-Doh. This happens to be a bit of my children's Play-Doh here, does the job. So you put the Play-Doh in your hand and you're going to squeeze. It's like having a really good stress ball, and then mould it back into place. And again, squeeze. Now I'm going to just try and mould it back into place with that one hand. Now a nice progression from the finger pad touching exercise is when you lay a piece of cloth, doesn't matter what it is, it can be a kitchen towel, onto your surface, and with your fingers you're just going to work the cloth towards you. So you're really trying to squeeze up that cloth, and once you've got it, try and make it into a ball in your wrist there. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lovely. And then you can just release it out. You can push the cloth away and start again. Trying to do a good 5 to 10 repetitions of those. And then squeeze it into place. Whew. Well, my wrist is going to be a little bit shaky after that. That gave it a really good exercise. So I hope that helped you at home. Let me know how that was for you. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought there. So thank you very much, folks, and see you next time.